Ruthless got the rage, let it flow. Holding on to stories, tales untold. He's the king of the ring, the last man standing. Dropkick the Commute.
I feel dead inside. And no, it's not because I got the Minecraft meal and they didn't give me nether sauce the other day. It is in fact because AEW Dynasty was last night and Mox won the main event, like usual. Listen, I think Deporticus, friend of the show, put it best in his most recent video. Go check it out. He makes great videos. Go watch him. He made a point where AEW puts on consistently banger pay-per-views, so when one is just good, it falls very flat. And that is very true. I think we're going to see a very similar case with WrestleMania this year, where WrestleMania was at such a high last year. WrestleMania 40 was like incredible. I finished watching that show and I was on a high for days. It was just so good. And this year, I don't think WWE is going to be able to live up to it. I think we're going to have some really, really great moments for WrestleMania 41, but I think there's going to be some backlash because it's not going to be as good as 40 was. I think that is just the case. So because Dynasty was just okay, it felt very lackluster. Listen, a lot of people are saying, oh my God, fucking Tony Khan's garbage. You know, he's getting the usual critiques here. You know, people shitting all over AEW and all this stuff. I do think the Deathrider story is boring. I don't care about it that much. And I think it is because I don't care about the matches. Whenever he does lose it, I'm just gonna be like, oh, thank God, finally. It is a boring storyline. I think what they're trying to do is like kind of mirror the Bloodline a little bit, obviously more condensed. They're trying to mirror the Bloodline storyline with the Deathriders, and it's just not working. It's been so boring for months, and we just keep seeing the same exact thing from Mox and the Deathriders and all this stuff. A good indication for me for Mox winning the main event came earlier in the show when the Deathriders won the trios titles. When the Deathriders win, to me, that's obvious that Mox is going to win the main event. Because it's like, why would you have them win their titles and then Mox lose? That's just not a thing there. I don't see why they would do that. So as soon as the Deathriders retained the trios titles, I was like, oh, Mox is going to win. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. And that's exactly what happened. The match with Swerve was definitely the most entertaining title defense for Mox that we've seen really in this run. It wasn't until the second half of the match. I thought the first half of the match was very meh. This match I thought was decent, and I thought it was the most entertaining from Mox, but it just sucks that we didn't have Swerve, you know, get the dub here. We did have lots of twists and turns, and it definitely made it a lot better, and kind of for a moment I was like, oh shit, Swerve's gonna win. It sucks that we're gonna have Mox hold the title until All In. I don't think he's gonna have a title defense at Double or Nothing. I imagine they're gonna do an Anarchy in the arena, and it's gonna be like Team AEW with Swerve, and then the Deathriders with Mox. Like, I think that's what's going to happen. But it sucks. We're just kind of guaranteed to have another 2 to 3 months of this storyline. Like, we have until July at All In, where I think Mox would really lose it. If it goes past All In, that's crazy. But I really disagree with most of the hate on Twitter. Yes, it's boring, but I'm going to keep watching AEW. I'm not going to stop. I think AEW, I think the other matches on this card were solid. We didn't get anything spectacular, but I thought that it was a solid show. I'm going to keep watching AEW. I'm not going to stop. And yeah, I'm a little mad, but I'm not like, oh, burn it to the ground. This garbage company, they don't listen to their fans. Tony Khan has an idea in his head, and I think it is good to pivot sometimes. That was the double-edged sword of the Cody pivot last year, right? Like, we had this big WrestleMania pivot that no one really saw coming. And now it's like this thing in the wrestling world where oh, they need to listen to the fans constantly. It's like, no, like they should listen. But in this case, I don't think they need to. I'm going to trust the process. I don't know. I'm still going to watch AEW. My voice doesn't matter. I'm simply saying my opinion. Like, I know whatever I say is not going to change the course of AEW. So I'm just here to watch. And I still find the show enjoyable. And I'm interested to see who the fuck takes it from Mox. Again, I don't really care about the matches at this point. I just want Mox to lose it, but I know he's going to lose it eventually, you know? People are at a very similar point, like halfway through Roman's reign, right? Roman's title reign on the WWE side of things. Like, people were pissed when Drew McIntyre lost at Clash at the Castle. I would say a very similar backlash. And people were pissed when Cody didn't win at WrestleMania 39. Now, I'm not saying the payoff is going to be as big as it was at WrestleMania 40. Whoever beats Mox is not, you know, it's not going to be on that level. However, I am not at the point where I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I'm all done with AEW, and I don't think I'm going to be that way. I do want to start hopping into the matches, though. Let's hop into it here, and we'll start with the main event as well. Swerve's entrance was fucking incredible. He kind of did that thing where, you know, when The Rock appeared out of nowhere on a random episode of SmackDown, Swerve did this. Such a good fucking entrance. Like, we had the lightning come down, and he just appeared. And it was so fucking cool. Again, this match had a really slow start. It was about halfway through where it started to heat up, where Mox chucks Swerve over the commentary table, like into Excalibur. Excalibur audibly goes, oh shit. And Swerve ends up getting busted open, and they're having their fight. Eventually, Jon Moxley takes out a ladder and puts it kind of near the commentary table. And they both climb the ladder. Swerve kind of knocks off Mox, so he's on the commentary table, and we got a Swerve stomp through the table, and it was fucking crazy. Swerve's knees, I cannot imagine how that felt for him. It looked very intense. It was a very scary spot. Hoping Swerve isn't injured or anything here. And then, of course, the big moment of the match, Mox ends up knocking out the ref. He chucks a chair at Swerve, and it takes out the ref. They're both down on the ground, and Hangman comes out, and he looks like he's about to buckshot Swerve, but then he kind of looks at Mox like he's about to buckshot him. Hangman ends up getting rushed by the Deathriders, and then the Ops come out to take out the Deathriders, which is really cool. Hangman gets back in the ring, hits Mox with a dead eye, and then, you know, he kind of leaves, and you think that Swerve is about to get the dub, but then the lights go out and the Young Bucks appear, give Swerve a big ol' EVP trigger, and Mox ends up getting the pin here. The count happened and my emotions just dropped. I was like, fuck, man. Like, I think the Bucks maybe hired the Deathriders or some shit like that. Maybe that's the documents they were shredding. The paper trail. The Bucks helped Mox. Mox retained. And then, of course, the Bucks stood there and laughed and watched. I don't know. I feel like Hangman helping Swerve could have been a huge moment. You know, he comes out, helps Swerve win, and then that leads to All In or something. But we do still have Double or Nothing in between this. Hangman could very possibly win the Owen, and then Swerve helps Hangman in the end. We could see something like that, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought about the main event. I feel like we're going to have very similar opinions, but I feel like there's going to be a lot more hatred, so I don't know. Maybe don't let me know how you felt, because I feel like I already know the answer. The rest of the matches, I mean, were solid, but there was nothing, like, crazy. Like I said, Crew and Nick Wayne won their pre-show match. Nick Wayne's looking really good. Apparently, he just got selected for a tournament in Japan. I don't quite remember what the tournament is called, but Nick Wayne has been looking really good, and he looked great in this match. He was kind of the highlight of the match. Max Caster Open Challenge. This was really great. Kind of had an idea it was going to be Bowens, but Bowens came out, you know, kind of to his old gimmick, the 5-tool player. and he is the pride of pro wrestling. He looked incredible. Massive pop for his music when it hit. Anthony Bowens comes on the Tron, and dude, like, he got such a pop. He absolutely deserves this. Comes out with Billy Gunn, and again, like usual, the squash open challenge to Max Caster. It was really great. Bowens looked happier than ever. He was on the post show as well in the media scrum, and he was very happy about coming out to that song, coming out with that new gimmick, and it was really great. Will Ospreay finally came out, and commentary didn't yap the entire time. We got a proper Will Ospreay entrance. Thank the Lord. This was a solid match. Typical Will Ospreay match against Kevin Knight. High flying, fast paced. Like, there was a crazy DDT counter on the ramp where Will Ospreay was going to do a Styles Clash to Kevin Knight on the ramp, and he kind of lifted him up to adjust him, and kind of in a powerbomb position, Kevin Knight countered it into a DDT, and it just looked gnarly on the ramp. Like, it was really, really good. So that was a fun moment there. Will Ospreay did win his match. Hurt Syndicate versus Big Bill and the Bad Apple. Again, a solid match. Hurt Syndicate was just brutal here. Real graps, as the kids say. The We Hurt People chants have been the best they ever have been. Massive reaction for the Hurt Syndicate. The Philadelphia crowd was incredible for this show. So very good stuff there. Big thing that happened in this match was MJF ended up interfering. Big Bill was kind of near the barricade, and MJF fucking clocked him with that Dynamite Diamond ring. And, you know, they ended up getting the dub over Big Bill and Bad Apple. So that's fun. Julia Hart versus Mercedes in the Owen tournament. This was also a solid match. I thought this was one of Mercedes' best matches in a while. I think I've said that the last few pay-per-views. To me, she's been improving. You know, when she started in AEW, I wasn't a fan, but she's been having some good stuff here. Julia Hart looked really, really great in this match. Very good reception for her entrance, and there was some crazy submissions here. There was a segment where they were like on the ropes, and I don't even know how to describe it, but Julia Hart was like hanging upside down on the outside. Mercedes was still inside backwards, and they were like back to back, but she was like pulling on Mercedes on the ropes, and they were just kind of hovering there for a second. And then right after that, Julia Hart hops over and ends up getting Mercedes into like an octopus hold thing, and that was fun. Mercedes did end up winning, but this was a very close match, and I thought, you know, Julia Hart and Mercedes had really great chemistry here. Deathriders versus Rated FTR. I wasn't super thrilled with this match, but until the end where we got a fucking double heel turn, which was so unexpected. Dax ends up kind of losing his shit and brings in a chair and puts it under Cope to go do a concerto. And Cash is like, yo, man, what the fuck? They lift up Cope, and he ends up turning it into a shatter machine. So we get the double heel turn. And then Cash ends up delivering the concerto to Cope, which was fucking crazy. Like, very unexpected to me. Funny fucking moment was they brought out the stretcher and the neck brace. Cash takes the neck brace and then goes on the stretcher, and he's like, oh, my neck, oh. And Dax is like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, he goes to do like compressions, and it was just really, really funny. He's like, you guys, he needs it more than I do. And then they walked out of there. But double heel turn was very unexpected. So we have a tag team that just turned heel. We have Cope. Does that mean we have Cope and Christian team up? Because Nick Wayne doesn't need Christian anymore? Is that what's going to happen? Maybe. I don't know. I'm being hopeful. Maybe we'll see that at All In or something like that. Give me Cope and Christian at All In as a tag team. Toni Storm and Megan Bayne was definitely one of my favorite matches of the night. The next couple matches were so solid, but Toni Storm, Megan Bayne, just very, very solid. Megan Bayne looked incredible. She can definitely hold her own. And I think she proved that on this pay-per-view. She deserves to be at that, main event kind of spot. I think the Kenny Omega match should have main evented. And I think this should have been like the second to last match or something like that. Toni Storm's entrance, dude, as usual, fucking incredible. She had this vignette where she was like training like it was Rocky, and then she came out in the Rocky gear. So good, man. Crazy moment in this. Megan Bayne ended up kicking out of the Storm Zero at 1, and Toni kind of lost her shit, but then she wins with the most dangerous move in professional wrestling, the small package, aka the surprise roll up. Very good. Bandito versus Jericho. I was entertained by a Jericho match for once in my fucking life, dude. Holy, this was good. This was so good. Bandito held Jericho upside down for a minute straight with one arm. He lifted him up over his head, and he just kept counting. Every 10 seconds, he would go like this, and he would hold him up, and the crowd would just keep counting. Held him up for a minute straight, which was fucking crazy. The blood rushes to Jericho's head, brings him down, and somehow Jericho got a small, very slight kick out. So the match continued. Jericho ended up cheating. He had his bat, and he hit Bandito with it, so he won the match. But then Bandito's family called over Aubrey Edwards. She's like, yo. They're like, the bat, he used the bat. And Aubrey Edwards goes over to the stairs and pulls the bat out. She's like, oh my God, what the hell? So then the referee decides to restart the match, and Bandito wins. He gets the ROH World title. Man, this was good. I thought it was a really, really good way to have this done. I was genuinely entertained by this, and I was kind of losing my shit. I thought it was really, really good. Adam Cole versus Daniel Garcia. Adam Cole came out in some Witcher gear, and oh man, that looked fire. But to be honest, I didn't give a fuck about the match. Adam Cole did win the TNT title. 17-year wrestling anniversary. Cool. I didn't care about it very much. But I think that's probably because I wasn't too big of a fan of Daniel Garcia's reign. I feel like nothing happened. It was a good moment when he won the TNT title, but I feel like nothing happened overall, Adam Cole winning, we'll see what happens with this. Maybe there'll be a little bit more spotlight on the title now that Adam Cole has it, but who knows, man. Speedball, Kenny Omega, and Ricochet. This was solid. Classic Kenny Omega pyro entrance. I do like what they've been doing where he comes out to Battle Cry on like the main shows, and then on the pay-per-views he comes out to like his boss battle music is how I've been referring to it. I thought it's been so solid. Just huge presentation for all three of these guys. Ricochet is such a good heel. I think he's one of the best heels in AEW right now. Ricochet provided to us one of the best wrestling memes that we've gotten in months. He's standing there on commentary. He's got the headset around him. He's like, hey, nobody can do anything to me. He's like saying all this stuff. And out of fucking nowhere, Speedball's foot flies into frame and just fucking clocks Ricochet in the face. And it was so good. I thought it was just such a very entertaining match. I'm no surprise that I'm entertained by a Kenny Omega match. I am every time. I don't have too much to say about it, but I thought it was just solid. Oh, a match I did forget to mention was Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe. And this was really good. Kyle Fletcher did end up getting the dub. I think he absolutely deserves it. After that cage match with Will Ospreay, push Kyle Fletcher to the moon, man. He is no doubt going to be a future AEW World Champion, without a doubt. Kyle Fletcher is going to hold gold soon in AEW. That's what I think. Whether it's the international title or the continental title, he's going to get something. He is just brutal. His holds are crazy. His slams are crazy. He's just a very, very intense dude. Overall, aside from the main event, the pay-per-view was okay. And again, I think when you have AEW pay-per-views set the bar like they usually do, the okay pay-per-views just feel bleh. And I think that's what happened here. Double or Nothing is in a month, and I think Double or Nothing is going to be solid. It usually is, and then right after that is All In. Usually All In has been in August, but this time we're getting All In right in July, right after Double or Nothing. So it's going to be very fun. It's going to be a good time. And overall, Dynasty, I will rate at 3.8 drop kicks out of 5. That is my official score. It's arbitrary. It doesn't matter. No one cares. But that's my official score. 3.8 drop kicks. Let me know what you guys thought of Dynasty. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you hated it. And WrestleMania is coming up in 2 weeks. How exciting. Good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, don't forget to drop kick your week. Bye-bye, everybody. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Beep, beep.